A figure was created using a triangle and a semicircle. So if you could see this, this is actually a composite figure. And what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and find the area of both shapes and go ahead and add them together. So let's start with the first one. So the first one is a semicircle. Okay, and it does give you the diameter. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and use the formula pi radius squared, and we are going to divide it by 2. So let's go ahead and do that. So because they give me diameter, I need to take half of that, which is 3 feet. So now I'm going to do pi 9 squared. Then go ahead and, actually it's 3 squared. 3 squared. And then once we do 3 squared, it's going to be 9 pi. And then we're going to go ahead and multiply that. So because there's no answer choices, we do need to do it with, multiply with 3.14. So 9 times 4, 36. 9 times 1 plus 3 is 12. 9 times 3 is 28 plus 27 plus 1 is 28. So my answer is 28.26, but I still need to divide that by 2. So pi is equal to 14.13. Now that was the semicircle. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and do the triangle. So the triangle has a base of 6 and a height of 8. So we're going to do A equals half of base and height. A equals half of 8 times 6. 8 times 6 is 48. So half of 48 is 24. So now that we have both areas, then we're going to go ahead and add them up. So this is going to be 24 plus, remember your decimals at the end of 24, so think of them as dollars, and then you're going to go ahead and add 14, 13. So that's 13, 8, and 3. So my total area is 38 and 13 square feet. You need to fold the notes in half, and then on the top, you're going to go ahead and write surface area. Okay, because that's what we're doing today. So this is called surface area. You're going to fill this in too, which means area of all the bases and faces of a 3-dimensional figure. So basically, it's kind of like a composite figure like we did yesterday, except that that 3-dimensional shape is cut and opened up, and when you open it up, it actually makes a composite figure. So we're going to start with 3-dimensional shapes. Okay, so this is a net. When you open up your 3-dimensional shape, it's called a net. So basically, it's what goes around it. If you think about it, a net is also used when you go fishing. And when you actually go and catch a fish, you put it in the net, and it actually goes around the fish, right? So that's basically the same thing. So it says find the total area of the figure below. What do you think this figure creates? What 3-dimensional shape? Yeah, it's a rectangular. Stop with the fish. Okay, so it is a rectangular prism. Now, the only thing that students get confused about is when we have different dimensions. So what we need to do is figure out what the dimensions are. So if this is 3 right here, then this is going to be 3, right? Because that will touch when you actually fold it up. So I'm going to go ahead and put 3 here. Okay. Now, if you think about it, if this is 3, then this is going to also be 3 because on rectangles, opposite sides are congruent. So that means if this is 4, then this is going to be 4. If this is 7 here, then this is going to be 7. So that's what we're going to be doing. If this is 4 here, then what is 4? This is 4, this is 4, this is 4. Okay? Now, if this is the opposite side, so that's going to be 3. So if that's 3, then this is going to be 3. Then here we have 3, so that's going to connect together, so that's 3. Now, the reason we're doing this is because we want to find out the area of all the figures. Okay, so now this is 7, that's 7, that's 7, that's 7, that's 7. Oh, well, I already put 7 there. Okay, so now everybody know how to figure it out? Okay, so now all we're doing is finding the area. Now, if you notice, the rectangles are all congruent, aren't they? In this case, they are. So 7 times 3 will give you what? 21. So we're going to put 21 here. Now, is this 7 times 3 also? The second one? No, it's what? 7 times 4, so that's going to be 28. Okay, this is 7 times 3, so that's 21. And this one is 7 times 4, which is 28. So don't assume that they're all congruent, because yesterday's assignment, they were all congruent. In this case, they're not. So what else do we need now? The squares, no? Or the rectangles here? Don't we need these? And this one too? So then this is 3 times 4, which is what? 12. And that's also 3 times 4, which is 12. So now that we have the area of all the rectangles, then we're going to go ahead and just add it. So I'm going to add 21 plus 28. So that's going to be 49. And then I know I need to multiply it by 2 because we still have 21 and 28, right? So that's going to be 98. And then we have 12 and 12, and 12 plus 12 is what? 24, so we're adding 24. So that's going to be 122. Did we get all of them? Did we get all of them? Yeah. Now remember, these are your bases right here. Those are your bases. Okay, your bases, you need to make sure you know which ones are your bases, because starting tomorrow, we're going to do something a little different. But this is your basis. And your base, remember, your base defines what shape it is. So if you have rectangles as the base, then it's going to be a rectangular prism. If you have triangles as the base, then it's going to be triangular prism. So the name of the shape is the shape of the base. Does that make sense? The name of the shape, so if it's rectangular prism, then it's the base of the shape. So that means the bases are going to be rectangles. So remember that. So let's go ahead and put 122 square inches, and that will be my answer. Let's look at this next one. So what is the name of this triangular prism? And how do you know? Because the bases are? Triangles. Yeah, the bases are triangles. So these are your bases. Okay, so let's go ahead and look to see if we have any missing sides. So do we have any missing sides? Now the only one is this one, which is still going to be 3 centimeters. Okay, so now that we have that, let's do the triangles first. Let's find the triangles first. So we're going to go ahead and do area equals half of base times height. So that's going to be, the base is what? 6, and the height is 3. So I'm going to do half of 6, which is 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. So that means each of these are 9. So let's look at the rectangles. So let's do the big rectangle that's connected to the bases. So we have 6, and what's this measurement? 14. So then all we have to do is area of base times height, which equals to 14 times 6. And 14 times 6 is 6 times 4 is 24. Carry the 2. 6 times 1, 6 plus 2 is 8. So then that area is 84. Now the next two, they're congruent, right? So then we just need to do one and just write the information on the other one. So this is area equals base and height. Area is equal to 14 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Carry the 1. 4 times 1 plus 1 is 56. So that means this is 56. So then all we have to do is add them up. So we have 84 plus 56 plus 56. And I'm going to stop there because then it's too many numbers. So 6 plus 4 is 10 plus 6 is 16. 8 plus 1 is 9 plus the 10 that we have here is 19. And are we done? No, what else do we need? The triangles. So we have 2 triangles and they're each 9. So that's 18. So 6 plus 8 is 14. 9 plus 1 plus 1, 11. And 1 plus 1, 2. So then that means the surface area of the triangle prism is 214 square centimeters. Okay, so if you notice, aren't we doing the same thing like we were doing in composite figures?
No, not
Aren't we doing the same thing? Aren't we getting just different figures in a shape?
Yeah.
And then just finding the area of all of them and adding them up? So it's the same thing. The only thing is that the name changed. Instead of saying area of composite figures, now you're saying surface area of a 3-dimensional shape. That's all the difference it is, but you're still solving it the same way. Okay, so this one's saying find the total area of the figure below. So here, what's the name of the shape? It's a pyramid. It is a pyramid, but because the base, so this is your base right here. Oops. The base is what? It's a square. Because the base is a square, then it's called a square pyramid. Ah! Sorry. So it's a square pyramid. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to see if we have all the sides. So do we have all the sides that we need? Well, think about it. So this, if it's a square, that means this is going to be 12. This is 12. This is 12, right? Now, if you look at it, they're supposed to be congruent because they have to meet on top. So that means this one, this shape is congruent to this one. So that means the height here is going to be 8. Okay. So then that also means that this one is congruent to this one. Is it? Yes. So that means that the height is 10. So then we're going to go ahead and add those up. Okay. No, it's not 10. Actually, the 10 is this part. It's this part. So that means these are also what? They're going to be 8. And it makes sense because if the basis is the same measurements, then that means that the triangles should be the same measurements. But don't always fall for that. So let's go ahead and do that. So that means all of these are congruent. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the area of the base first. So area of the base equals A equals base times height. So that means what am I multiplying?
12 times 8.
12 times 12. Okay, so then that means this equals to 144. Now the triangles, it's going to be area equals half the base in height.
We're going to divide that by 2.
So then this is going to be first, we're not dividing that by 2 because we're looking at the base is 12, the height is 8. So it's going to be half of 12 times 8. So what's half of 12, sorry? 6. And 6 times 8, that's going to give you 48. So now, how many of those do we have? 4. So that means I need to multiply this by 4. Because there's 4 of the faces. So 4 times 8? 32. 4 times 4 plus 3? 19. So now I'm going to go ahead and add all of those, which would be 144 plus 192. So that's going to give us 6, 13, and 3. So the surface area of the square pyramid is going to be 336 square feet. Last one is finding the total area of the figure below. So it says name of the figure. So again, what do you think this is going to be? You fold it. Triangular what? Prism? Pyramid. Triangular pyramid. If it were a prism, it wouldn't have those triangles. It would have rectangles. So a prism will always have some type of rectangles. Okay, so again, this is a triangular prism. So what we're looking at these marks right here. Those are all congruent, which means that that's going to be 10. Those are 10, not 8, because 8 is actually for the height. So if that's 10, then that means that all of these are going to be 8 as in height. So let's go ahead and find the area of 1. And if we find an area of 1, then what would we need to multiply it with since all of them are congruent? Times what? How many triangles do we have?
3, 4.
4. There are 4 of them. So let's go ahead and do area equals half of base and height. So that means that the base is 10. The height is going to be 8. So half of 10 is 5. And 5 times 8 is 40. So because it's 40, is that my answer? No, I still need to do what? So 40 times 4 gives us 160. So this will be the surface area of the triangular prism. Now guys, don't remember, they might not always be congruent, so be careful with that. Always look for those math graffiti. So make sure that you're looking for that. And you do have an assignment today. Besides the homework, actually, that half sheet is your exit ticket. I have your classwork homework over here.